You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to session. Good morning to everyone. We're going to start the session another 1 to 2 minutes as a few of the participants are still joining. Today we have given a new link. So participants having some issue to log in. Just give another 1 to 2 minutes. We'll start the session. Thank you. Good morning everyone. Once again. So first I'm going to start with a recap of previous session. So in the previous session we started with BODS, Business Objects Data Services. We discussed about BODS has two important components. One is the job server, and second one is the repository. Repository is a collection of metadata, and job server is used to transfer content from source to target. In order to connect BODS to source and target, we use data store. Data store is an object that connects source and target. In the previous session, we also saw how to create a repository. Repositories are of three types: local, central, profiler. Local repositories are also known as local object libraries. Repository is created at repository manager. To create a repository, we need a database. So we created a database in MS SQL. We created security to the database. We created a repository. We assigned a job server to a repository in the server manager. We registered the repository at the CMC, Central Management Console. And finally, created a user and password for a developer to log in. Created a user and password for a developer to log into BODS workbench. Until there, we have seen. From today, we're going to see from a developer point of view how a developer creates an ETL flow and how he transfers data from ECC or from non-SAP systems to HANA. So today's session is replicating of data from ECC to HANA. So log into the remote desktop. Let us type MSTSC, click connect. Let's provide the username and password. Excuse me. So once we are inside the remote desktop connection, let us click Start, click All Program, click Data Services 4.2, and click Data Services Workbench. So once we click on the workbench, the username is best. The username is best. The password W capital welcome 123. Click log on. So once you log on, so for the first time, everyone would see a welcome page, something like this. For the first time when you log in, because I used to keep logging in for different classes, but for your session it would be the first time, so you'd see this welcome screen. Just close the screen. So you see Project Explorer. So Workbench is the UI for BODS. Click File, click New, and click Project. So let us provide the project name. I'll give it as SAP COPA project. A data services repository. The repository is best. Best is a repository which is already created. And click Finish. So once we finish, a project is used to group ETL flows. Package is used to group information views. Project is used to group ETL flows. Like how package is used to group in views, project here is used to group ETL flows, extract, transformation, and load flows. Right click on the project, new, click on data store. A data store is a connection. So go to MS Paint. So here we have BODS. BODS we have ECC, and we have HANA. So we created a project. Under this project, we have the project. We create a data store. We create a data store. This data store, I'm going to connect to ECC. We have another data store. This data store, I'm going to connect to HANA. So I'll go back, right click on the project, new, and click on data store. Provide the name, ECC, provide the description, click next, data store type, SAP application, click SAP GUI, right click on the ECC, click properties. The ECC application server is GNS. So I'll give the application server over here, GNS, username best, password W capital, welcome 123, client, ECC client, double click on the ECC, client is 800, client is 800, system number is 20, nothing but the instance number. So once we provide application server, username, password, client, system number, click test connection. Connection test succeeded. Click close and click finish. So once we finish, expand the project. Under this project you have ECC data store. Right click on the project again, click new, click on the data store, give the name for data store, HANA, click next, data store type, database, and database type, SAP HANA. Use ODBC. So I'm not going to use any ODBC connection. I'll directly connect to HANA without an ODBC. Open database connect. I'll double click to say no. I'll provide the database server name. So to give these details, click Start HANA Studio. Click OK. Double click on System. Provide the username and password. Right click on the system. Click Properties. Click Additional Properties. The host is SAP HANA. So let's go back. Give the database server name as SAP HANA. provide the port number 30015, provide the username, best password W capital welcome 123. So once we provide the server name, port number, please see the port number is this 30015 is the port number, username, password, click test. Test connection. Connection test succeeded. Click close and click finish. So now we have one data store for ECC and the other data store for HANA. So in the next step, we need to identify, based on the business requirement, what tables from ECC, the tables from ECC I'm going to import to BODS repository. So I'll go back to workbench. So this is the ECC data store. I'll double click on the ECC data store. I'll click tables. So here you have an icon called import object by name. Click on this import object by name and enter the name of the table, which is KNA1, and click finish. Once we click finish, it's importing the table. So it's importing the metadata from the table. So the number of columns we have is 194 columns. So all that you see here is the metadata. So click save. If you save, this table is now at the repository. Which repository? Best repository. In a similar fashion, I can import another set of tables. If I want to import multiple tables, I click on this plus icon to import multiple tables. I expand the application, expand sales. Under sales, I can expand logistics in general. I can expand material. So all these are material tables. So if I want to import some set of tables, I can select one or more tables. Group of tables I can select and click import. So here it's trying to read the entire application component hierarchy of the ECC system. Accounting, logistics, human resource. You can see all the tables. Or you can import single tables from here. CE1 IDEA. CE2 IDEA. T005T. T005U. T001. TBKO. TBKOT. TCURT. VBAK. VBAP. VBAP. VBRK, VBRP. So like this, whatever the tables that you want to import, you can just enter those tables and click save. You see all these 15 tables are now in the repository. Now once we have these tables, now where are these tables? For example, like Kenya 1, this table now is in the repository. It's stored in the repository. In the next one, once we have these tables in the repository, we need to move these tables from repository to HANA. So from here, we brought into repository now. From here, we need to move to HANA. In order to move these tables to HANA, we need to create something called template tables. Template tables are the tables which are runtime tables. These tables are runtime tables. These tables are created. These tables are created when we execute a job which is known as a replication job. Replication job. So replication job is a job that takes the metadata from repository, creates them as template tables. Template tables are created in HANA when you execute a job called, when we execute a job called a replication job. So whose responsibility is to transfer container and the contents of the table is a replication job. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to workbench. I click on the project, click new, and click replication job. Once I click on the replication job, I'll give a name. I'm giving a name. I'll provide the description and click finish. So once we finish, we have to select all the tables that we require. We'll select all the tables that we require. Drag and drop these tables inside the replication job. Just select and drag and drop. And now you see all these tables, including the columns. So now I'm basically creating a replication job. In this job, I'm dropping all the tables from repository to the replication job. So we're basically taking a copy of the repository tables. So these are actually creating the template tables. So I'll select this root node. In the root node, here we have target and database properties. Where do you want to create all these tables? The target data store. What is the target data store? Target data store is HANA. And click OK. So HANA is the target data store. Target owner is best. The replication behavior is schema and data. So it gets the metadata as well as the data. Schema is nothing but the container. Data is nothing but the content. Now which schema does it go to? Is go to best. So whatever the schema that you would like to choose, please see what schema I would like to choose here. I would like to choose best. Or you want to choose something else, eFashion or SLT. So whatever the schema that you want to specify, we can give the schema name and finally validate. Validation successful. Validation is successful. And finally execute the job. Click on execute. Once we execute and click yes, now at this point of time, whatever the job, TC, this job server I associated with repository. So how do we know whether it is associated with this repository? So if I click on start, all program, data services 4.2, click on data services server manager. Once we click on database services server manager, the job server name job server underscore 1, job server underscore 1, configuration editor, I select this job server 1, click view. This job server 1 is associated with, so you have this repository called best. So one job server can be associated to multiple repositories. One job server can be associated to multiple repositories. But at any point of time, one repository can be only associated to one job server. So one repository associated to one job server cannot be associated to another job server. So basically I'm associating the job server. So this is done at the server manager. I just want to show this. How we can know is by seeing at the server manager. I'll click finish. Once I click finish, now it will start deploying the tables first, and it will transfer the content from ECC to HANA. It's going to take some time, probably 3 or 4 minutes, to move these tables once the job is started. So it started the job. It started this job. So we can schedule these jobs even in background. You can associate, okay, daily at 8 a.m. you want to move this data. We can schedule it. We can schedule the jobs in data services management console. We have a separate interface where you can do scheduling of these jobs, which is known as data services management console. So the jobs have started. Here at the bottom, we can see the speed statistics, the speed at which the data gets loaded. Jobs are getting executed. So the job is executed, and you can also see the speed statistics, the speed at which the data is being. So here you have approximately around 34,907 34,979 rows per second is written into HANA. So now we can go back to HANA. We can expand the best schema. Right click on the tables folder, remove the filter, expand tables, enter the table KNA1, double click on KNA1, click on runtime information. So here you see the columns in the table, and the main thing that I want to show is when the table is created, the creation time of the table. Or you can see another table like VBAK. So this is the creation time of the table. Double click on VBAK, click runtime information. So here if you see, the table creation date is 4th April. But you see the data is in the Delta storage. So around 10 MB of data. 10 MB of data is in the Delta storage. Now I can just right click on this table and perform Delta merge. I click on perform Delta merge and click OK. Click OK. I'll refresh. I see this 10 MB of data. When I refresh, let's see how much it get into compression. It is 3.4 MB. So almost more than 50% of the compression has executed. Same 10 MB is now in 3.4 MB. Data would be same. So this is nothing but delta merge is a way we can store effectively data in memory. It consumes less space on database. So all these tables, when they first write data, whether it is newly created records or changed records, whether it is a full load or a delta load. So what is full? Entire data transfer to HANA. Delta, newly created or changed records for the existing records. Everything will be written into delta, and then internally a job is executed to transfer data from delta storage to main storage. So this is known as bulk loading. Bulk means bulk of tables I load to HANA. Also, there is a requirement to transform data. The transformation of data can be done using data flow. When we right click on the project, new, click on data flow. You see, right click on the project, new, data flow. Give the name, in the description, click finish. So here you have different transforms like read transform, loaders, platform transform, data integrated transform. All these are different transforms like case, merge, query, row generation, SQL, basic lens. All these are transforms that we can use to transform data. So when you move data from ECC or from non-SAP system, we can move. When we move, we can apply business rules by using these different transforms. And finally, we can load. Finally, we can load data to HANA system. Finally, we can load data to transform system. So replication job is just used to bulk load, and data flow is when we use to apply data transformation. So I think today I will stop in here because we'll start a new topic called transformations from tomorrow's session. So tomorrow we'll start with the transformations. So it's going to consume some time. So today was how to move data from ECC to HANA using a replication job. So the first thing that we have done is create a project. Project is used to group ETL flows. Step number 2, create a data flow. Create a data store. Data store is a connection to source and target. Then we created a replication job. To move tables to replication job, we need to import these tables. We imported these tables to repository based on the business requirement. I copied this table from a repository to the replication job. Once I execute the job, the tables are created in HANA. When the data is more than 1 GB, automatically the data is moved to main. All the incoming data will store in Delta, and system does auto merge or soft merge. And then we can use these tables in modeling. For transformation of data, in order to transform data, we use data flow. So we'll take questions now. I'll just read out the questions. Already we have a few questions over here. I'll just read out those questions. So can we schedule this job in the background? Yes, we can do it using data services management console. Is it possible to perform data loads in a reverse direction from HANA to ECC? It is not possible. We cannot write data. We cannot write data to an ECC table. From HANA, we cannot write data to ECC table. ECC can only be source, but ECC table can never be a target to write data. When a job is scheduled to transfer data every day, does it overwrite the existing data or append data? You can do both the cases. You can append or you can overwrite. So when you overwrite, what happens is it drops the table every day, it creates a table, it loads the entire data. Now you can go to drop the table when you have, so when do we go to drop table? When you have limited set of data. For example, these tables are fixed. They don't change, but usually they don't change, but probably they change, but not at large volumes of data. Then you can go for load. So the other one is delta, means newly created records or changed records. For an order, let's say there's a change in the net value of the sales document. There's a change occurred. We only need to get that change. To get that change, we use something called CDC, change data capture. Capturing of changes that occur to data, we can bring via delta. Delta is nothing but newly created records or changed records, changes to the existing records. We can get via CDC, change data capture. Can you show how to do it in background? Yes, you will see. We'll see when you execute data flow. We'll see that. What is the purpose of data store of HANA? It's just a connection because we connected to the ECC. Now even we need to connect to target. So we need to have two end connections. At one end we have ECC and at the other end we have HANA. So ECC is only a middle layer. For example, if I want to catch hold of source and target, source is ECC and target is HANA. So I need to create two data stores, one for source and the other one for target. So what is the difference between data provisioning and data migration? Migration is a concept in data provisioning. So when you provision data, we do migration of data. We migrate data from source to target. When doing data provisioning, we have different provisioning methods. You can provision in real time, you can provision in batch process. So provision is, and at a very high level we say provisioning. Inside provisioning we do migration. Migrating is nothing but from older systems, from the legacy systems, you want to move data to your new systems, migrating. So which version of BODS are we using? 4.2. 4.2 is a better version because it has a tight integration with HANA. 4.2 has a tight integration with HANA. Why did we create data store for HANA if we haven't used it? We did, I think we used it. Please see here. If I go to workbench, if I go to the replication job, please I use this here. Target data store HANA. When I click on this, test connection. So this is what the connection we created for target. So I've scheduled a job. After completion of the job, can we send email to the business about the log statistics? Yes, we can send using CCMS. There's a separate tool called CCMS. Using that tool, we can send alerts, alert management. What is the use of IDOC or LSMW? Nothing to loading into SAP. Yes. in order to load data into SAP systems. LSMW is a legacy system migration workbench that is used to load data to ABAP application layer, that is to SAP systems. And IDOC is nothing but intermediate documents when you want to move data from one ABAP application layer to another ABAP application layer. So is data provisioning referred to transfer, means copying of source and target? Yes, correct. So in today's session, we mainly focus on to transfer data from ECC to HANA. Tomorrow we'll see how we can transform data. So SDA cannot transform data. What is its purpose? Its purpose is you can access data on the fly. We cannot load physical data to HANA. It's only to access data on the fly we use SDA, Smart Data Access. Thank you everyone to attend today's session. We will see tomorrow same time. So tomorrow we will see data transformations in BODS. Then we have one more question here. What is the role of admin? The role of admin is to create a repository, job server, configuring the system, installing the BODS system, all that is taken care by admin. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Thank you.